What time is it?
6:43.
Oh, we got time.
Oh no.
Do you want to grab your purse? We're going to go on that.
Great.
to go up there and tell everybody it's there.
Oh, great. Lots of fun. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Hello.
How are you? Hello.
Well, my question right here.
Yeah, so I'll be there. Starting to come here. Just because they can't do anything. They can get them scared. And I'm always like, why am I standing here? All I see is the faculty. But yeah.
You may be seated. Good evening. Welcome, parents, staff, family, friends, and distinguished guests. Please join with me in recognizing several of our honored guests who are here with us tonight to celebrate the accomplishments of the class of 2022. Members of the Currituck County Board of Education, Chairperson Karen Etheridge, Vice Chair Janet Rose, Jawan Kraft, Kelly Williams-Peters, and Dr. Bill Dobney. Mrs. Christina Bowyer, on stage with me, the Assistant Principal of J.P. Knapp Early College. Also seated on stage, Dr. Matt Lutz, Superintendent of Currituck County Schools. Renee Dowdy, Assistant Superintendent for Currituck County Schools. We have some other guests with us this evening as well. Finally, seated on the third row this evening is the phenomenal faculty and staff, both past and present, of J.P. Knapp Early College. Class of 2022 and guests, join me with a huge round of applause in recognizing our supporters and this remarkable group of educators. A graduation ceremony is always such a special occasion, a culmination of years of hard work, the actualization of goals attained, and the acknowledgement of successes achieved. My morning commute is now about 50 minutes, so I have a lot of time to reflect and think about everything. Particularly, what I wanted to say tonight to my students, just one last time. This year I looked to my family for inspiration, and that's my Knapp family. The family joined together here this evening, and my own Fallon family. A few weeks ago, after 28 years of marriage, 4 children, and 4 homes, my husband surprised me for the first time with this box. You can't see it, but it says Levion. That's a good box. This little box excited me tremendously. That, along with a traditional saying related to love, weddings, and hope, have inspired my welcome tonight. First, let's talk about that little box. As many of you know, sometimes amazing things come in small packages. J.P. Knapp is a small high school in northeastern North Carolina, but we are doing big things. Big, big things. As you will soon see, these 56 graduates will graduate having earned 45 degrees, diplomas, or certificates from the College of the Albemarle. Incredible for our little school, quite remarkable indeed for any early college anywhere. As you well may imagine, that little box made me think of another ceremony 28 years ago. Like a graduation, the wedding marks the end of one journey and the beginning of another. So I started to think about something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. You've almost all heard this matrimonial rhyme before. The components, much like a high school graduation, reference appreciating the past while looking to the future. You may be asking, how does this relate to our commencement? And let me explain. Something old. Traditionally, an item is a nod to the past, a tie to the past. It's a tie between the past and the future. Something new is a token to represent hope for the future, a new chapter in life. Our old. I guess that's me. I will take a few moments to recognize the new seated in front of you this evening, the miraculous class of 2022. Their high school journey began normal enough, and then a global pandemic rocked their educational world. And I'll translate. That's finished 10th grade under quarantine, and college instruction under similar or hybrid conditions. For many, including Knapp's educators, the challenges seemed uninsurmountable. But this group of students, like couples in most great love stories, they triumphed. Let me tell you about this group of graduates. First, our super seniors. At JP Knapp, a super senior opts to stay with us a fifth year to complete a degree or a program at COA. 6 out of 7 of our super seniors earned a degree or certification at the College of the Albemarle, with 100% of them having earned well over 40 college credits. Let's give them a round of applause. Super seniors Serena LaMarche and Riley Lobax earned an associate in applied science from COA. They both worked while doing that. Serena is the first female JP Knapp student to graduate with an associate in applied science in aviation systems technology. In addition, she completed a paid internship this spring at Elizabeth City State University, where she earned college credit while working in ECSU's aviation maintenance program. Congratulations to both of these super seniors. We have another super senior who has joined the workforce. Yasmin Owens has earned a diploma in cosmetology from COA, and she is currently employed on the Outer Banks. Congratulations, Yasmin. Now let's talk about those seniors. What you will see tonight is 37 students that have earned 39 degrees at COA, or diplomas or certificates. Seniors Albert Mercado and Caleb Oliver both earned 2 degrees, an associate in science and engineering. Congratulations to those. Special brothers amongst tonight's graduates. Cody Curran has earned a COA welding certificate, and Xander Curran, his brother, will be joining the U.S. Navy. Seniors Kennedy Wilkerson, Nora Anton, and Caitlin Moores are recognized this evening for their works in COA's Estuaries publication. Yes, we have published authors and artists in our midst. Congratulations. We have 3 Eagle Scouts, Albert Mercado, Colin Fatick, and Tyler Clark. Miss Victoria Burleson. I just found out this afternoon that Albert Mercado was selected as the American Legion Department of North Carolina, the whole state of North Carolina, Eagle Scout of the Year. Congratulations, Albert. Completed a fall internship at Central Elementary School that ignited a passion for education for her. She plans to study early childhood education in the fall. Congratulations, Lily. And one final note about this amazing group of students. 100% of our graduates have earned college transfer credits. This remarkable group of graduates are truly our hope for the future. Congratulations to them. So now for something borrowed, something blue. In the traditional sense, these items represented a connection to family, friends, love, and faithfulness. In this borrowed auditorium, many blue robes will walk across the stage. And honestly, I'm always a little blue on graduation night. Sometimes I have to make myself not cry, but there might be somebody else that beats me to it this year. Graduates, ask yourself, who's here for you in this auditorium celebrating your accomplishments with you this evening? It's your team, your tribe, your clan. Promise me you'll hug them all just a little bit longer tonight with words of thanks and support. And remember to always be faithful and true to the ideals that they taught you. So let's talk about that little box and what was inside. To me, it really didn't matter what was inside. The gesture was love, and that was enough. During our program tonight, listen for the love, the reflections, the notions, and the wisdoms from all of our speakers. Graduates, I wish you everything that you so richly deserve in the years ahead. Welcome everyone, and I hope you enjoy our 2022 commencement. Thank you.
Greetings, friends, family, teachers, staff, and guests. I'm Olivia Hall, the salutatorian of the class of 2022. Congrats, Spartans. Tonight, we check off another box on our list of things that the government makes us do. In doing so, we are now much less likely to live with our parents until we're 40. Now we ask ourselves, who are we? What are we going to do now? Honestly, many of us don't know or pretend to know so that we have an answer whenever an adult asks us. Regardless of what you do, I wish the best for each and every one of you. Looking back at our time here, it was pretty rough. We lost friends, struggled through the ACT, and spent more time on Zoom calls than we could have ever imagined. But despite the tough times, we had some good ones too. We had the time of our lives at the Sad Club lock-ins and cheered as Martin chugged jars of gravy every year. We went all out on E-Girl Day and Frat Day sophomore year, and we danced our hearts out at prom this year. Now we're here, getting ready to say goodbye to Nat, our friends, and our families. Soon, most of us will be leaving for college, and we'll be on our own for the first time. We'll have to learn to do our own laundry, boil our own water for ramen, and decide whether or not our week-old leftovers are okay to eat. We'll be entering the so-called adult world, where I'm sure we'll use our high school knowledge, like the parts of a plant cell and how to analyze 18th century poetry every day. Before we leave, I'd like to say a big thank you to all of the teachers and staff at JP Knapp. You have all helped set us up for success, and we couldn't have done it without you. I'd also like to thank all of the friends and family who have supported all of us and been a rock for us to lean on. Lastly, I'd like to say a few personal thank yous. First, thank you to Ms. Jennings for helping me survive this year. Your classroom has been my refuge, and I do not know what I would have done without you. Second, a special thank you to Mr. Martin for welcoming my scared little freshman self into your sophomore English class. You helped make my transition into Nat a lot less scary. We all miss you. Third, thank you to Ms. Kelly, my psychology professor at CUA this year. I know you're out there somewhere. You have helped me so much these past few weeks, and I would not have been able to transfer all of my credits out of state without your help. Last, a special thank you to my parents for helping me set my goals high and go for them. I think moving across the country for college has met that statement well. As my time at Knapp is coming to an end, I've learned a lot about myself, the world, and the people around me. These past few years have been a struggle, but I wouldn't have spent them anywhere else. I wish the best for all of you Spartans. Thank you. like to welcome the class of 2022 valedictorian, Albert Mercado, to the podium.
Howdy, howdy. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, and the JP Knapp faculty and staff. My name is Albert Mercado, and it's truly a pleasure to be here in front of all of you, representing the class of 2022. I want to warn you that my speech this evening has something for everyone. Something a little old, but still something a little new. I will honor our guests with traditional words, and more importantly, engage my classmates as I accelerate the pace with rhymes, all right? Every day since I was in kindergarten, I always imagined myself being one of those, grown-up adults filling up the gas tank or just buying groceries, acting all adult-like with a whole life to get to. Fast forward to adulthood, it's here. You're paying $4.44 a gallon with the money you probably got overworked for. With maturity, we will now be able to relate to all the adult problems we probably never really understood. But let's take an instant to absorb the holistic beauty of this moment. All the hard work, determination, patience, sacrifice has all led up to a piece of paper we call a diploma. But it's no ordinary sheet. It's a diploma for the JP Knapp graduating class of 2022. Yes, I'm now going to address my classmates. I want them to know that I've appreciated our moments together with a 2022 twist. Well, class, we made it past the wreckage, so we mix it up, pour it out, and put it in this message. But don't get it casual what we passed, y'all, because the world needs more mature adults. Dang, I please focus on your needs, not just a degree, because I speak from experience and nosebleeds. That stuff makes buckled knees. And I promise you, it's better to be free than confined society than ask, could I, would I, make it like a tree? At that point, you won't ever leave. So I say, grow, water, and nourish that sapling. Our 4 years finally done. Like Abraham Lincoln, got our 4 scores up. And 16 bars ago, our cage opened up. Now we all 18, looking forward to paid dreams, eating ramen every day, open windows, AC, broke. Maybe it's time to bring it off. Finally follow passion from our own hearts. I thank you, my friends. Serena, I only see you so often, and I think you're chill. Riley, I know riding a helicopter will be a thrill. And Matthew and Yasmin, y'all are good at conversation. Morgan and Peyton Vaughn, you good at application. And Alex, I remember Magic Talk in the AM. Sarah, you seem like you were a party, never hating. Hanging with Trinity, look good in every scene. Cadence, you legit are super smart, but it only pains me we had 2 classes shared in part. Nora, you got good style and the overalls I'm seeking. And Shelby, thank you for the dance at prom that one weekend. But now it seems like so many people go to App State. Colby, man, you pass good round like a dinner plate. And the Caves shoes, I admit, those are great. Marissa, your active concentration, the NFL inspiring. Madison, you were everywhere with fashion books, smiling, along with Paul. Friendly giant, big love, I fall. And Victoria, I hope you know that you were competition, because with Tyler Club and Colin F, Scouts was an ambition, and Aiden, that FNAF presentation, I'll always miss, and stay with Rachel because PB&J always sticks. Connor, your can-do attitude is fun to talk to. Cody, where are you, mate? You were always chill, dude. Xander, I admire your sense of spirit, especially with the armed forces. You're gonna make it. Jalen, I'm sorry about the tutoring, but I'm proud of you. And Madison Gibson Crabtree Fall Sweater, I went there too. And Olivia, thanks for the introduction to French songs. It's Ce sera bien and on. Riley Hughes, like color, humble, absorb environment. So I'm happy you allowed conversation to exist, and I hope you become a physical therapist. Sai, that tuck shirt remind me of private school, but it's a good sense of style. and to me it looks cool. Chris, I know we don't ever talk much too, and maybe you go thrifting sometime, me and you. Julian, we gotta go mudballing, right? That countryside of Currituck. I gotta get it tight. And Alexis, you have a crazy brain, tell bone still hurts from roller skates. It's hard to think of what to say when 6 feet right at your face. Caitlin, you got such an extra personality. I try to be the person you always inspire me. And Caleb, thank you for inner peace and sharing with me your new bit, Ravens, coffee, and a piece of that intelligence. Please remember me. Trinity Pittman, you in that same scene, because you never talk about the genius I've seen. Ethan, man, how could I forget you? The late night conversations, you helped me get through everything. And Philomena, a quiet person, nice to talk to. Aiden BMW, thank you. Computer, talking, playing, appreciate what you do. And Michaela, you were always fun too. Though we only talked to Sakura, you really came through. And Elena, you so good at artistry, animation, drawing, we speak in the same things. Kennedy, that yearbook hard to beat with your thing for photography. I have jealousy. Carrie Young, remember that project of Mr. Martin? And since then, I always remember your funny jargon. Lily, you were always making sure everyone having fun. And that Thanksgiving mate, I remember the one. Sarah, I know we barely speak, but you're way too confident for me. I guess that's psychology. Lily, that literature class was cool though. Remind me of my friend from middle school, yo. And Marilyn, the memories, it's too much to tell. Eliza, you like Mac Miller? That's my favorite artist, the swimming album killer. Maya, I won't forget when you dragged off that Maki Maki. Alyssa, I like gardening too, so come and call me. And Chrissy, what in the world is phlebotomy? Sam, I don't know how, but brought a dog to see away. And Nadia, I remember talking to you in 9th grade, but you're humble and honest. It's good, I promise. And Elizabeth, I remember that you are always honest, and the animation I know is something you'll harness. Special thank yous to God, my everything, Mom, Dad, Elizabeth, Isabella, Thea, Lulu, family up above and in person. Miss Boone, Miss Boyer, Miss Fallon, Miss Amborski, JP Knapp staff and faculty, Currituck Board of Education, Lieutenant Colonel Grimes, Mr. Kruger, Peyton Hutz, Brendan Williams, Isaac Avis, Brian Spiegel, Peyton Hutz, and Stephen Guerin. You are my tribe. Thank you. Congratulations to the class of 2022.
Hello, my name is Trinity Pittman, and I have the pleasure of presenting the class gift this evening. The senior class gift is presented by the graduating class and will be enjoyed by future graduates. This year, our class has chosen to gift a grill to the school. To be more specific, a large 73-inch gas griddle. This year, JP Knapp Early College brought back a tradition that we hope will continue on for years to come. This Wednesday, we came together to enjoy a senior picnic, the first since 2012. The picnic marks the end of our high school journey and celebrates the new chapter in life we are entering. It gives students one last time to join together as a class and celebrate the friendships we have made and the memories we have had at JP Knapp. Our class gift will be used by the future classes of seniors just like it was used at ours. This year's senior picnic was spectacular. We raced each other in a blow-up obstacle course, signed our very last high school yearbooks, and enjoyed drenching each other using large water squirters, which may or may not have resulted in a surprise attack and a soaked Miss Fallon. We used the grill for the very first time. Special thanks to Mr. Davenport for his master grillsmanship. The class gift will be used for many future celebrations. It will bring together the JP Knapp student body and build a healthy environment for learning. I am thankful that the class of 2022 gets to make such a big impact on future napkins. At this time, Elizabeth Henry will introduce a student performer and class video. In a couple of minutes, Carrie Young will perform perform a cover of Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles for us. But first, I wanted to talk a little bit about the story behind that song. Here Comes the Sun was written by George Harrison, who was the guitarist of the Beatles, and around this time, music making had started to feel too serious for George. And it was more about dealing with lawyers and signing papers than it was about having fun with music. One day, George decided to ditch the serious meetings, and he went over to his friend Eric Clapton's house instead. George wrote Here Comes the Sun while playing on Eric's acoustic guitar and walking around Eric's garden. After Kira's performance, we're going to see a video of memories from our time at JP Knapp with our class song, Don't Stop Believing by Journey. Getting to graduation has been a challenge, and dealing with difficult times and cold winters is a part of life, but I hope that Kira's performance and the memories will remind you that the sun is always waiting for you.
I can sing along with this.
pleasure to introduce to you our special guest speaker this evening. This person earned his bachelor's in broadcast journalism from the University of South Carolina, his master's in journalism from the University of Missouri School of Journalism, as well as his bachelor's in history from Elizabeth City State University. He also attended culinary school for 1 year and apprenticed in a restaurant kitchen. Honestly, I cannot say this is surprising, as he has repeatedly expressed his love for wine and cheese and European cuisine. After finishing his school, he was a newspaper reporter and writer for the Cincinnati Enquirer for 14 years. He worked in healthcare, marketing, and public relations for 4 more years, and he worked as a TV news assistant editor and producer in 3 different states over the course of 5 years. No, he did not pull any Brock, he is just that awesome. Finally, this person was an English and history teacher at JP Knapp for 10 years, and ended up earning himself the title of Teacher of the Year at Knapp from 2015 to 16. In retirement, he currently resides in Elizabeth City with his wife, 1 dog, and 2 precious cats. He likes to cook, eat, and travel. The first time I saw him, he walks up to me in the hallway and says, "Are you Vick?" And I said, "Yes." And he says, "I think I know your mom. She did a root canal on me last week." And I said, "How'd that go?" He was like, "Not too bad." But ever since that conversation, I got to know him more, and he's just been one of the greatest teachers I've ever had, and one of the best English teachers, period. He is the ultimate. People, please give me a hand in welcoming the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Chuck Martin.
Whoa, current talk. Is this a surprise? Oh, Paul, you promised not to tell. You didn't tell anyone. Really? Madison's not saying a thing. So. Well, I mean, you guys were like expecting Elon Musk or something. You know, I was hoping they'd send me a commencement invitation. I really wanted it, but I have to do this. You know, Ms. Fallon asked me to speak on this momentous occasion. She asked me not to tell anyone because she wanted it to be a surprise. You see how that went? And then, at least I did my part. I have to tell you, I guarded this secret as if my wife had been in on it, because I was afraid that if the word got out I was on the program, nobody would come. And I'm thinking that was Fallon's plan too. Right? So sorry, folks. You're here now. You're captive. And I've been here like, I don't know, a minute, and I've seen like 5 people go like this to the person next to him. Who is this guy? Thank you, members of the Currituck School Board, School District Administration, Knapp staff, and esteemed Knapp faculty. You're down there somewhere? Or can you hold your hands up or something? Oh, okay. It's like I really can't see much. Okay. You guys look exhausted. From what I can tell, you look exhausted. Miss Bowyer, the English teacher I always looked up to, and now assistant principal, and Miss Fallon, recently, Mercado County, who was also kind of crazy, right? Because she asked me to do this. The idea of me speaking, now hear this, the idea of me speaking first came up last May when I told Miss Fallon I was retiring. First, she asked me if I would come back to Knapp to substitute teach. Then, after I got up from the floor laughing, she asked me if I would consider speaking at commencement. Back on the floor laughing. No way did I think she was serious. Now I'm thinking Knapp just busted the speaking budget, right? I mean, the superintendent shaking his head, yes. They couldn't afford anyone else, much less Elon Musk, so they got me. This reminds me how I was first hired to to teach by Miss Renee. She was then principal at Knapp, and she's now, of course, assistant superintendent. This is nearly 11 years ago. I went in to make my presentation for the job. On my way out, I saw another applicant waiting to interview. She was 20-something, enthusiastic, pleasant. She looked like an English teacher. I, on the other hand, looked like the grumpy old man in the animated movie Up. I knew I was toast. I wasn't going to get the job. But to my shock, and I really don't want to know why, okay? But to my shock, the next day Miss Dowdy called to offer me the teaching job. I was like, are you sure you don't want to think about this a little longer? It's just too soon, which is kind of like me speaking tonight. So maybe the lesson here, kids, that is the part of kids. And I have to tell you, I'm totally confused. When I wrote this thing, I should have asked you guys, do I call you graduates? Are you graduates or seniors? I'm going to call you seniors. Okay? It's already in the talk. Maybe the lesson here is, even if you think it's impossible, but you don't stand a chance like me getting that job, expect the unexpected. Now, before I go any further, I want to thank another mentor who couldn't be here tonight, Mr. Steve Bassnike, who served as J.P. Knapp principal for nearly 4 years until 2018. I believe this graduating class is the last one Steve helped to recruit before he left. As many of you know, Mr. Bassnike was involved in a horrible car accident near Moyoc last month. He was severely injured, and his father died from injuries suffered in that crash. Steve means so much to me and to the rest of the Knapp family. We are all thinking of him, grieving with him, wishing him the best. I saw him last week. He is doing remarkably well on his way to recovery. I think he's going to be back on the beach real soon. Again, thanks for the opportunity to speak tonight, seniors and super seniors. Nice outfits, by the way. Who came up with that idea of caps and gowns? I mean, really? Really? Yeah. Remember, you guys, you may or may not remember when you were in my class, I told you that high school was the best days of your lives. Remember that? I lied. I was just trying to get you through high school, really, I tell you. Now, you're about to begin the best days of your lives. I last taught these seniors 2 years ago, the super seniors 3 years ago, when they were just babies, sophomores. And I taught them in back-to-back semesters, so I really, really got to know them. And they really, really got to know me. You know, since I've retired, people ask me, this happens all the time, happened tonight, actually. How is retirement? Do you miss teaching? It's always a great conversation starter. For me, these aren't easy questions. Of course, I don't miss some things about teaching, and I'm not going there. But I do miss other things, like those Friday afternoon packing meetings. Seriously, what or who I mostly miss are the kids. I miss messing with them, joking with them, jousting sarcastically with them. I miss seeing the giddy look on their faces the day after they cut my class and then come back and proudly tell me they just got their driver's license. I miss watching their passionate class debates over the morality of Gatsby's affair with Daisy in the novel The Great Gatsby. I miss watching them grow up, get smarter, become better dressers. I'm looking at you, Kobe, wherever you are. All within the span of, a short span of 9 months when I taught them. I can tell you, I really miss the kids. I do. I am so proud of you guys. You are not just graduating, you're graduating from, okay, let me tell you, this is my biggest regret about teaching it now. Hang with me, okay? I regret that we never brag enough about our little school. So here we go, kids. You are graduating from the best darn high school in northeastern North Carolina. You should celebrate that. I have always believed that it was our students that made Knapp the best. They dream big. They come motivated to learn, to work harder. Many students, I think, come to Knapp with kind of a chip on their shoulder. They're underdogs, determined to prove what they can do, and they do it. And they'll do almost anything to please a teacher, even a former teacher like me, right? You guys gotta play along, right? Okay, so I need soon-to-be graduates, I need your help. This will be kind of a clever Knapp interactive thing. When I give you the cue, I want you to groan in unison. This is like one of those, well, it's like, this is like one of those teen groans you make when, I don't know, mom tells you have to do some chore at home, or they tell you that, you know, curfew, or what do you call it? Curfew, is that what it's called? Curfew is like 10 o'clock. That kind of groan. Okay, so we need to practice. Here we go, and you're going to groan on 3. Ready? And that's you guys too, okay? I can't see you, but you're going to do this, right? Here we go, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Pretty good. Okay, time to move on. This felon only gave me an hour to speak. Graduates groan on 1, 2, 3. I'm beginning to think, taking back that stuff about Knapp being. I think it's tradition for commencement speakers, and you know I'm all about tradition. Tradition for commencement speakers to cite inspirational literature or poetry. I hope you seniors will be inspired by this. I'm a street light shining, I'm a wild light blinding bright, burning off and on. It's times like these that you learn to live again. It's times like these you give and give again. It's times like these, time and time again. That, of course, is from the 1990s hit song Times Like These, crafted by those genius lyricists, the Foo Fighters. I'm not sure if it works, but I really like the song, and it's in my head. But it's not Journey. You guys did Journey again? I mean, how many times? You didn't put that? Some didn't vote is the excuse, okay? I think, you know, after a while, just move on from Journey. I think it's also tradition for the commencement speaker to employ his or her wisdom to give you tips on life. I gotta do this. Of course, you know that wisdom is usually earned by people, often old people like me, who just make mistakes or watch others make mistakes. My tips are aimed at how to navigate and hopefully succeed in the work world. Who knew? Tip number 1, and you probably heard this one, so forgive me. Be ready to adapt in your work life after school according to the changing world, the changing economy, and the changing you. Be nimble. I went to college for 6 years to become a broadcast journalist, believe it or not. Then I dropped out of TV to go to culinary school and work in a restaurant kitchen, believe it or not. Next, I worked in healthcare marketing, and then I landed my dream job as a food writer at a newspaper. I merged my cooking experiences with my communication skills. Later, I quit the newspaper job and moved here. Plan B was to become a teacher. I don't think I really had a plan A, so don't listen to that, okay? But it worked out. I can tell you that teaching was the hardest, most grueling, sometimes most frustrating and exasperating job I've had in all my long years. But it was also the most rewarding. Now, I should caution you guys, the seniors, that before you make a big job or career changes, think it through carefully. Just because you love to cook doesn't mean you can make a living at it. I'm proof of that. Talk it over with your family. You'll need their support. I know I did. So parents, you're going to cringe when you hear this. Sorry, man. You may spend a fortune paying for your graduates' post-secondary education or training, but there's a chance they may not use it in the way you thought. They may have gone to school to major in philosophy, but they might end up working as a plumber because we desperately need more plumbers. I need one this week, especially plumbers that can expound on the writings of Socrates and Descartes. Those guys make the big bucks. Gotta tell you. Bottom line, though, I don't think any education or training is wasted. Tip number 2, be humble. Yeah, you probably heard this too. I sound like a voice. This becomes especially important if you do all that adapting in the work world. If you change your career or job, you better be prepared to start at or near the bottom and lose the smart alecky attitude. When I decided I wanted to become a cook, I found myself mopping floors and washing dishes, earning minimum wage at age 30. That was after my 6 years of college education. That was humbling. Whenever I changed jobs, I discovered it's best to keep my head down and ask for help often. When I started working as a teacher, there were so many things I didn't know. How to design an attractive bulletin board, for instance. How to use that scary laminating machine in the back room. Thank you, Dr. Corbo, for all that laminating over the years. I've never really been able to talk like a real educator. Honestly, before I became a teacher, I don't think I ever used the word reflect as in thinking about what you messed up and how you might not mess up the next time. Now I reflect all the time. I think it makes me wiser. This brings us to tip number 3. Respect and value everyone at your workplace. And this, by the way, is true whether you change careers 4 times like I did, or if you work as a nuclear physicist for the rest of your life. 2 of the most indispensable employees at Knapp are its custodians, Ms. Rose Gutierrez and Mr. Wayton Moore. I need your help again, seniors. Just question, and you answer with your hands up. You can still do that, right? How many of you guys had me first bell? You can't even remember? Somebody had me first bell. Okay, all right, lots of people out here, these guys, not so much. Okay. Let me ask a second question. Don't raise your hand or like throw anything. Was I sometimes extra cranky first thing in the morning? Thanks, yeah, I'm too enthusiastic. Well, imagine how cranky I would have been if Miss Gutierrez hadn't softened me up a little. She would talk to me for a few minutes before class about her grandchildren, her children, one of whom I taught. This helped remind me that there's a lot more to life than writing lesson plans and grading papers. Not only that, Rose would also help me communicate with the parents of children who didn't speak English well. She is fluent in Spanish. I am not. In the afternoon, Mr. Moore would bring me down after a stressful day with one of his pep talks. Sometimes he advised me on how to deal with a student. Sometimes how to deal with another teacher. And if I needed any in-school gossip, Mr. Moore was there. Both Mr. Moore and Ms. Gutierrez made JP Knapp the amazing school that it is. They are part of its foundation, and they are also good friends. So seniors, respect and value everyone you work with. Take time to talk to them, ask for their advice, rely on their knowledge and skills, because believe it or not, you don't and never will know everything. Do this and you will become a better worker, and most certainly a better person. And by the way, while you're at it, maybe it's a good idea for you guys and maybe the rest of us to respect and value everyone, not just at work. There seems to be a lot of hate going on in our country right now. We need a lot more loving. Okay, it's time to wrap this thing up. Just a few more minutes. Soon the diplomas will be flying. For all my classes, I required students to write an argumentative research paper. Okay, don't groan yet, okay? It's coming. The paper had to cite sources, and perhaps most important, it had to include a concise thesis stating the author's argument. First paragraph, last sentence, right? Okay, seniors, groan on 1, 2, 3. I can tell you, obviously, the kids hated writing thesis statements. So here's my thesis tonight. This year's graduating class is poised to become members of the next greatest American generation. That's right. I believe these students can help solve our biggest problems. Why not? Here's how my argument goes. Hang with me. Author Tom Brokaw wrote a book about the greatest generation. Hard to believe it was titled The Greatest Generation. That generation was made up of the American men and women who won the Second World War. Some fought on the battlefield, others worked here at home to revive our economy and made the weapons of war. People like my dad, the son of a poor farmer, dirt farmer in South Carolina, who quit school to join the Marines and go off to fight in the Pacific. So what, you may wonder, does that greatest generation have in common with these Gen Zers? Is that right? What they have in common is adversity and resilience. That greatest generation, they grew up during the Great Depression, the worst economic crisis we've ever experienced. Those Americans survived it, grew stronger, and became more resilient, tough. They were ready to win World War II. These students have also faced adversity. Some of you have already talked about it tonight. The worst pandemic in a century. A pandemic that has killed more than 1 million Americans and more than 6 million worldwide. I was teaching this class during that frightening and really creepy spring of March 2020. We went home from school one day in March and never came back. Like other teachers, I was soon posting lessons online. I really didn't know what I was doing, and the kids didn't either, but they figured it out, and they did it. Since that March, things haven't been the same. The pandemic robbed these kids of so much, being face-to-face in class, all those vital social encounters that make them healthy humans. Yes, there is a lot of gloomy research on how the pandemic has delayed the educational progress and damaged the mental health of our young people. I believe that. And I strongly believe that those who need help should get it. But there's other research that shows that because of the pandemic, this generation trusts science more. It also shows these students are closer to their families and loved ones, naturally. I also truly believe that learning to handle everything the pandemic threw at them has made them more resilient, tough. These seniors are ready to take on the challenges that face us. Climate change, gun violence, rampant drug abuse, the next pandemic. These seniors are especially well equipped because of that special Knappness they've earned, that underdog can-do spirit. I'm a street light shining, burning off and on. Ah! It's times like these that you learn to give again. When my students wrote a research paper, I always demanded they provide strong evidence to support their thesis. Well, here's the rock-solid evidence that supports and proves my thesis. Ladies and gentlemen, I offer the 2022 graduating class of J.P. Knapp Early College High School.
We've referenced this already. Somebody did in one of their speeches. But we have the gravy.
gonna make me drink it.
You don't have to drink it. I always recognize students who were extra special and did an extra special great job in class with the Sloppy Joe Award. Thank you so much. It means a lot for our students. Let's give him a round of applause. At this time, we will start our diploma distribution. Ms. Bowyer, I invite you to the stage. Super seniors, please stand.
I'm trying.
Sabrina Ann Yvonne Lamarche, Associate in Science. Riley Joseph Lobax. Matthew Ross. Yasmin Amaya Owens, Cosmetology Diploma. Morgan Jessica Schlopitz, Associate in Arts.
I'm going to stop the screen and restart it.
Alexander Joseph Underwood, Associate in Science. Peyton Marie Vaughn. Seniors, please rise.